Hi everyone, welcome back. Thanks for joining us today. We've got a brand new story to share with you. So let's begin. My name is Sam, and I need you to picture this for a second. You're deployed thousands of miles from home, doing what you've been trained to do. Then, out of nowhere, you get an email that turns your entire life upside down. That's how I found out my wife was divorcing me, through an email. To say it shattered me doesn't even begin to cover it. But before that, everything seemed fine. I'm going to walk you through exactly what happened, because someone out there might need to hear this. Maybe you're a soldier like me, or you're just someone who gave your heart to the wrong person. Either way, stick with me till the end, because I've learned some hard lessons, and I will be sharing them with you. I met my wife, Diana, right after I got back home to Texas from an out-of-state military mission. After coming back home, I decided to hop on one of those dating apps. My plan was to look for a fling. I wasn't ready to get involved with anyone. I just wanted to relax and meet someone new. That's when I came across Diana. She was beautiful. Honestly, I couldn't help but be intrigued. We matched and we started chatting. Now, I've got to admit, I didn't expect much out of it. I thought we'd meet up for one date, maybe have a decent time, but that would be it. But when we agreed to meet in person, things took a different turn. Our first date was kind of unexpected. We had deep conversations right away. I shared some of my military adventures with her. She seemed genuinely interested in what I had to say. Most people don't really get what you go through when you're away, but Diana actually seemed to care. As I opened up, she did the same. Diana had a 4-year-old daughter from a previous relationship. She wasn't trying to hide anything about her past, which, honestly, made me respect her more. She was upfront about it, and I appreciated her honesty. We went on a few more dates after that, and I started getting a clearer picture of who she really was. What started as something casual took a turn I never saw coming. The more time we spent together, the more I felt like I'd found someone real. We ended up dating. It wasn't always easy with my job, but she made things feel steady and grounded. About a year in, I proposed. She said yes without hesitating. People around me told me I was lucky. They said she was beautiful, sweet, and down to earth. And I believed them. She gave me something to look forward to when I was deployed. Her texts, her little video updates, the countdown calendars we made together for when I'd return. It all made it easier to be away. During the year we dated, I deployed twice. Being gone that long, it's hard not to worry. But Diana always picked up my calls when she could. She sent care packages and wrote letters. I held on to those. Looking back now, I wonder how much of it was real and how much was just a mask she wore so well. But at the time, I was all in. I had no reason to doubt her. I loved her and I trusted her. A few months after I proposed, we got married. Just a small, quiet church ceremony with close friends and a few family members. Right after the wedding, I did what I thought any responsible husband would do. I added Diana to my military benefits. That meant she'd be covered under my insurance, could access resources, and receive support from the military community while I was away. I wanted her to feel secure, protected. We also opened a joint bank account. At the time, it made sense. We were a unit now, and I believed in full transparency. So, my paychecks were going straight into that account. She had access to everything. That's how much I trusted her. Shortly after, I used my VA loan to purchase a house. I didn't just put it in my name. I put her name on the title too. Because of the nature of my job, deployments were always part of the picture. So, before any of them, I made sure to assign her as my power of attorney. That meant she could handle legal matters, sign documents, make financial decisions, basically act on my behalf while I was overseas. I didn't see it as a risk. I saw it as a responsibility. She was my wife. That came with trust. That came with access. I never made big decisions alone. I wanted her to feel involved. I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought this was what love looked like. Total trust. Total commitment. Total vulnerability. Over a year into our marriage, just a few weeks before I was set to deploy again, things between Diana and me began to shift. She started acting distant. Conversations became shorter. She wasn't asking about my day like she used to. There were more "I'm tired" and "it's nothing" responses. I'd be talking about something for my day and realize halfway through that she wasn't even listening. Her eyes were always glued to her phone. She started stepping out to take calls in private. When I asked who she was talking to, she'd say things like, "Just work," or "It's nothing, don't worry about it." But I did worry. I knew things were serious when she began staying out later than usual. Sometimes she said it was dinner with coworkers. Other times, she stayed late with friends. And when I pressed her for more details, she acted annoyed. In the military, you hear stories. Brothers in arms being cheated on while they're deployed. Some came home to empty houses. Some came back to find their wives pregnant by someone else. I'd heard enough of those tales to know how they start. I didn't want to believe it could happen to me, but the signs were there. So I made a decision. I wasn't going to confront her. Instead, I decided I would take precautions. Because if this went the way I feared it would, I needed to be prepared. I went down to the military legal office on base. There, I revoked Diana's power of attorney. She would no longer be able to make decisions or access certain benefits on my behalf while I was away. I made sure it was all properly documented. Next, I went to the bank and opened a new savings account in my name only. I started redirecting all my special pays and other allowances into that private account. I knew I couldn't stop my regular base salary from going into our joint account without tipping her off, so I left that part untouched, for now. I also updated my records and made my older brother my new emergency contact and power of attorney. He was the one person I trusted to have my back, no matter what. I needed to observe and see if what I was feeling about Diana had any truth to it, or if I was just being paranoid. Either way, I wanted to be ready if things went sideways. Once I deployed, I tried to call and text Diana whenever I got a break. At first, she picked up like usual. But not long after, she started taking longer to reply to texts, or she wouldn't reply at all. Calls that used to last 30 minutes were now cut short. When I asked if everything was all right, she always had an excuse ready. She'd say she was overwhelmed with work and she just had too much going on at home. On the surface, those are valid things. Life isn't easy as a military spouse, I know that. But she was acting like she was trying to keep me from asking more questions. It didn't sit right. I've seen this kind of shift before, with fellow soldiers whose marriages ended badly while they were gone. A few weeks later, we were informed that our return date had been postponed again. It was the second delay in a row. This time, the mission had hit a snag, and they told us we could be out there for several more months. I wasn't thrilled, but it's part of the job. I remember messaging Diana to let her know. She didn't reply immediately, which I had grown used to by then. What I didn't expect was what I'd see in my inbox a few days later. An email from her. The subject line was just my name. The message was short and cold. "I've filed for divorce. Please don't contact me. It's over." I tried to process what I just read. My first instinct was to log into our joint account. I don't know what I expected to find. Maybe reassurance that she hadn't completely flipped. But the balance said it all, 0. She had cleaned it out. Every cent. That moment hit me hard. I'd meant to set up transaction alerts before I left, just like I had planned during my meeting at the legal office. But between all the deployment preparations and trying not to start a fight with Diana before leaving, I put it off. I thought I could trust her enough to wait. That turned out to be one of my biggest mistakes. But even though I was hurting, I needed answers. I needed to know the full extent of the betrayal. So I called my brother. I asked him to go check on the house. A few hours later, he called me back. And I'll never forget what he said. "There's a guy here. A man. Living in your house." My brother described him. Diana had moved her ex-boyfriend into our home. She didn't wait for the ink on the divorce papers to dry. It felt like my chest was caving in. Even the backup plan I did before going on this military mission didn't erase the pain, but it protected me from financial ruin. Emotionally, I was wrecked. But financially, I had some cover. The moment my boots hit U.S. soil, I went straight into action. I contacted my attorney and filed for an emergency hearing. The case? Dissipation of marital assets. I wasn't just emotionally betrayed, I was financially robbed. And I had proof. I came to court with everything. I had bank statements showing how she drained our joint account after she sent that email. I brought copies of my deployment orders to show I was out of the country when it all happened. Most importantly, I had the pictures my brother took of her ex-boyfriend living in our house. After a lot of back and forth, the judge responded. The evidence was overwhelming. Diana's actions were officially labeled financial misconduct. She didn't just cheat on me. She used money we earned together to support another man. That's not just betrayal. That's theft in legal terms. And the court gave her a choice. Either repay half of the money she took from the joint account or forfeit any share she had in our remaining assets. It was justice beginning to take shape, and for the first time since this whole mess began, I felt like I was starting to get control back. The final ruling came a few months later, and the judge didn't hold back. Based on all the proof I submitted, I was awarded sole ownership of the house. The judge agreed that her affair had started before she even filed for divorce, that she had moved in with another man while we were still legally married, that maided abandonment, infidelity, and cohabitation, all before the divorce was finalized. After that decision, I wasted no time. I filed for eviction immediately. 2 weeks later, I stood on the driveway of my own home as a sheriff's deputy escorted both Diana and her boyfriend out. I just watched. After the court awarded me the house and gave the final ruling on the divorce, I knew I had to make one last round of cleanup. I couldn't afford to leave any doors open that she could walk back through, financially or legally. So I contacted JAG, the Judge Advocate General's office, and started the process of severing every remaining tie between us. The first thing I did was strip her off my military benefits. That meant no more health insurance under my name. She was removed from TRICARE completely. I made sure her access to any dependent allowances, spousal privileges, or base resources were revoked. Anything that tied her to my service, my rank, or my benefits, I shut it down. Then I updated my will. Where her name once sat as a beneficiary, it was now blank. I replaced it with someone I could actually trust. I had to be thorough. She didn't just lose me. She lost the entire lifestyle that came with wearing my ring. The security, the benefits, the stability, all gone. Now, when it came to the money she stole from our joint account, the court handled that with brutal clarity. Diana couldn't pay it back. The judge decided to offset what she took by cutting her out of any share in the remaining assets. That meant no equity from the house, no share of the car, no claim to anything we built together. The math was simple. What she took was deducted from what she would have received. In the end, the numbers didn't work in her favor. She walked away with nothing. And because our marriage hadn't lasted long enough, barely a couple of years, she didn't qualify for alimony in our state. No spousal support. No monthly check. No legal foothold to drag me back into court later. It was over. After everything that happened, the betrayal, the divorce, the court battle, the eviction, Diana still had the audacity to reach out. She sent messages dancing around the same thing. She wanted to talk. Said she just needed a chance to explain things. I saw the messages. I read every one of them, actually. But I never replied. Not once. Not because I didn't have anything to say, but because I knew nothing she said would be worth the energy. Her explanations wouldn't undo what she did. They wouldn't refill that bank account. She made her choices without a shred of respect for me. Letting her back into my life in any capacity, even just to talk, would have been like reopening a wound. I'm not going to lie to you. Walking away didn't fix everything overnight. I lost years of my life that I will never get back. I think that's what hurt the most. Not just the betrayal itself, but realizing I gave someone full access to my world and she burned it all down without blinking. But I learned something from it all, and I say this now with every ounce of clarity I've earned the hard way. Blind loyalty is dangerous when it's not protected by boundaries. That might sound cold, but it's the truth. You can love someone deeply, but if you don't guard your heart and your assets with wisdom, that love can be weaponized against you. And that's exactly what happened to me. Healing didn't come easy. I used to think therapy was for people who couldn't handle things on their own. But after enough people I trusted kept suggesting it, I gave in and booked a few sessions. I won't pretend I poured my heart out on day one, but little by little, I opened up. And as much as I hate to admit it, talking helped. Just being heard without judgment helped. I started to piece myself back together. So here's my advice to anyone listening, especially to those in long-distance relationships or in the military or just putting their full trust in someone else. Love deeply, but protect yourself legally and emotionally. Keep your eyes open. Set boundaries. And never, ever ignore your instincts, especially when you're thousands of miles away. Those gut feelings? They're not paranoid. They're your soul warning you. Listen to them. I wish I had sooner.